All right, this is pretty cool. I'm going to show you how to make your own vitamin D supplements using mushrooms. Now, mushrooms are normally grown in the dark, and the only light they see is some fluorescent light when they're either being picked or processed. And mushrooms have very insignificant amounts of vitamin D unless you expose that mushroom to ultraviolet B light. And there's some very cool research on exposing these mushrooms to light and boosting the vitamin D levels to levels far greater than the RDAs. You can boost the vitamin D in mushrooms to levels of 5,000 international units to 46,000 international units and beyond. And so in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. You can use oyster mushrooms, shiitake, maitake, or button mushrooms. And there's other mushrooms you can use as well. And when they did the research and exposed mushrooms to light, they found that if you expose the gills, the little ridges underneath the cap, you get the maximum conversion to vitamin D. Now, because the button mushrooms don't have those little gills, we're going to cut them or slice them lengthwise to expose more surface area to create a similar effect. Now, I will say that the type of vitamin D mushrooms have is vitamin D2. And so it's a slightly different version of vitamin D, and it's not as bioavailable, and it has a shorter half-life, but that's okay because you're going to be boosting the levels of vitamin D at a really good range. So the amount of absorption you're going to get is going to be pretty good. I'm also going to recommend that you consume your mushrooms with some type of fat like butter, sauteing your mushrooms, simply because vitamin D absorption is increased when you add a fat, since vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin. But mushrooms have some pretty good nutrients. It has a really good range of B vitamins. It has selenium, zinc, copper. It has the vitamin C complex, and it has potassium and many other nutrients. And they're great on keto because they're low net carb. All right, so this is how you're going to do it. Number one, you're going to obtain mushrooms either from the store or finding them in the woods, or you're going to grow them yourself, like I did recently. But I recommend the shiitake, maitake, oyster, or the button mushroom. Now, in order to have this mushroom create this conversion